it was, I would say, serious throughout the whole entire process. They reached out early, and we just kind of had constant communication throughout the whole process. And then I had to kind of vet. I'm not saying vet in a negative way, but it's like basically talk to people that have kind of played for the Blue Jays or are playing with the Blue Jays, and just say, like, how did you like it? How do you like the organization? Just because I wanted to make the right decision. Obviously, I was hoping for a multi-year deal, which I got, and I just, like I said, I just really wanted to make the right decision. I'm glad I did. But yeah, like I said, I talked to, like, name a couple names, like obviously Chappie with you guys now. I talked with Simeon, who was there for a little bit. So some other guys too, but that, like, just that's the recent guys that I kind of talked to, and just like I said, just really made sure that I was going to make the right decision in signing with Toronto.
Nice. And what kind of stuff did you hear from Chapman or Semien as you were having those conversations with them?
Yeah, all good things. Obviously, I would not have signed with you guys, but I mean, I think Simeon was a big one, just because, I mean, he got the grand tour, kind of, so to speak, with the whole COVID year with Buffalo, and then obviously playing a lot of games in Florida, and then playing some games in Toronto. So I would say how Toronto kind of handled that whole year, and how still great they were to families and stuff like that, went a long way. And then obviously Chapman talking to me a little bit about kind of the normalcy of a year kind of thing, and what it really can bring, was big.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're up, Arden.
Hey, Chris, Arden Zwelling with Sportsnet. Just sticking with Chapman there. Obviously, you guys played together for a number of years. What do you kind of remember about having him behind you when you were on the mound, and just how important he was to your game, considering how often you put the ball on the ground?
Yeah, it's a great combination to have me throwing a lot of sinker balls, and then obviously having a platinum glove at third base. So how great he is defensively. I mean, I expect him to win a Gold Glove every year. How competitive he is, and how much he wants to be on the field and help everybody. I was pretty hard pressed to kind of turn down the opportunity to kind of play with him again. I'm good friends with him. Been good friends with him for a long time. So yeah, I'm very excited to kind of play with him again.
And last year at the Mets, you got to play with a couple of the best pitchers in the game. When you think about Jacob deGrom and Max Scherzer, just curious what you kind of learned from being around them and seeing the way they go about it, and what you might even carry forward with you in the future from those guys.
Yeah, I would say last year was very special in the aspect that I would say it was basically two bona fide Hall of Famers that I got to play with, and it was more so. I mean, it's two completely different personalities and two completely different ways to go about their business. But I mean, both I'll take some things away. I'm not trying to make headlines on their name, but I'll definitely take things away from both of them, and I will definitely implement them in the future.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Your turn, Ethan.
Hey, Chris, Ethan Diamandis with Sportsnet. I guess as a bit of a follow-up to Arden's question there, when you talk about taking things away from the deGroms, the Scherzers of the world, is that more off the field in terms of routine and preparation, or is it, as simple as something mechanical that you're taking away?
I would say it's honestly everything. When it comes to say Max, I'm taking away his obviously on the field stuff. I want to see why he's so good. But for me, more importantly, was off the field. I want to play for a long time. Hopefully I play a lot longer than the contract that I have with Toronto, and hopefully I can play there for a lot longer than just 3 years. But Max is obviously a little bit older than me, and why he's still so good, I wanted to know why. So I would say I learned more off the field from Max than on the field. And then Jake was just more so just kind of watching greatness every single day. So mechanics from him, me and him have similar body types and stuff like that, and just try to, like I said, add a little bit of what he does kind of thing to my game, and just see where it goes.
And then now in Toronto, you're going to be part of a pretty tight-knit rotation, guys that are there for a long time, and in Gosman and Barrios and Alec Manoah. I mean, how excited are you to join that group?
Yeah, that's I mean, that's one of the biggest reasons why I came. I want to be a part of a group for an extended period of time where we can really get to know each other, help each other be the best that we possibly can, and then hopefully do something special in the very end. But I think learning each other, kind of what makes each other tick, and truly trying to push each other to be the best version of themselves off and on the field is a big thing for me.
Thanks, Chris.
You're up, John.
Hey, Chris. John Chidley Hill with the Canadian Press. Welcome to Toronto.
Thank you.
I'm curious, it's clear you did a lot of research before signing with the Blue Jays. What do you think the team is capable of in 2023?
I mean, I think they're capable of winning a World Series, or I would not have came. Yeah, I think not to name the teams that I had kind of circled, but I wanted to go. I mean, I'm here to play to win a World Series. It's that simple. And I think Toronto with the pitching staff, obviously that we have, the bats that we have, and the defense that we can play, we kind of have a full package. Sure, we need to get better, I think, in all areas, no matter what. But we have the capability of being something special.
Earlier, we spoke with Ross Atkins about an hour ago, and he was telling us that he put a focus on run prevention in some of the deals he made to start the offseason. How does your pitching style play into run prevention specifically?
Well, I mean, to me, I think it's a combination of two. I trust the defense behind me, and I'm always basically one of the leaders in weak contact. And the thing with weak contact is that you got to have a really good defense behind you to kind of take advantage of that. And luckily, I think we in Toronto have a very young core of really good defensive players that can take advantage of that. So when it comes to my game, so to speak, I don't walk a lot of guys, and I cause a lot of guys to not hit the ball that hard. And like I said, hopefully a lot of these young guys can go and run and make some plays for me.
Thanks for your time and happy holidays.
You too. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hi, Chris. Mike Wilner from the Toronto Star. Welcome to Toronto. Nice to meet you. And just to sort of jump off of John's point, when we were talking to Ross, he seemed to talked about a lot how much of a premium the Blue Jays put on you as a competitor, especially in a playoff setting. Can you sort of describe for us what it is about you? Do you have that extra gear to dial up, or are you just generally like one of those people who hates to lose at a completely different level than most others?
Yeah, I would say I definitely I hate to lose a lot more than most people. I'll say that. I don't care if I win, and that's going to sound horrible. It doesn't even make sense. But if I win, it doesn't mean really much to me. But if I lose, I won't be able to sleep too much at night. So to me, it just the way I don't know why the way I got brought up or something like that. Like I said, if I win, it doesn't do much for me, but if I lose, it absolutely drives me absolutely bonkers. So like my reward is not so much winning. I feel like wins come as a team. Like I just try to do my part kind of thing. But if I lose, I really take a lot of blame and onus on that. And I would say the big question. So it's kind of funny because back in the day, you fill out all these like draft sheets, and I can't remember what team it was. I think I know the team, but I'm not going to give them credit. It wasn't Toronto, but they asked a question: what feeling is greater, your love for winning or your hatred for losing? And it's kind of always stuck with me because like I can really like get behind that. And I'm like, my hatred for losing is far, far greater than my love for winning. So yeah, I very much look forward to winning against like Chappie and those guys so I can rub it in their face. But yeah, if I lose, I'm going to lose my mind.
So, how do you make that work for you as opposed to being too hard on yourself and having that work against you?
I make it work for me because I know how much it drives me up a wall when I lose, that it's very easy for me to not like skip out on stuff. Like if I'm not gonna miss a workout, I'm not gonna miss a training session or a rehab session or a film session or stuff like that, because I just think if I miss this one thing and I lose and I have to look back and think like if I would have just worked out that one time, or if I would have just did one more thing of film, or if I would have just one more thing of rehab, I think things would have been different. So I just do everything in my power to basically not lose. And then if it happens, I can somewhat sleep a little bit. But that's how I basically benefit from it, is I just max accountability on my end, on making sure that I am the most prepared I possibly can in every start.
All right, thank you.
Your turn, Caitlin.
Thanks. Hi, Chris. Caitlin McGrath here with The Athletic. I'll also apologize. My building is testing the fire alarm, so hoping it doesn't go off in the middle of this.
You're good.
Just Ross also mentioned sort of the teammate, and I guess Matt Chapman spoke a lot about, what you bring to a team, the intangibles, I guess. I just wondered if you could speak to maybe what you feel you bring to a team, whether it be as a leader, on the field, off the field, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would say there's a fine line between having fun, which I'll definitely have a lot of fun on and off the field, but there's also that fine line of like you have to be completely accountable. And I think from a team breakdown, like you have to have, and I don't like to think like you have one leader on the pitching staff, but I think it's like so-called like a group. Like I want the Toronto Blue Jays to kind of look at our starting pitching staff and say like, dang, those guys work their butt off. They're there every day. So we have to be there every day. That kind of thing. So I just think it's more so just an atmosphere that you got to bring, that like he's bringing it, so I got to bring it kind of thing. And hopefully that kind of just makes everyone go, which I feel like I've been a part of a lot of good groups. The group in Oakland was great because guys like Chappie, the New York group was great, but it's just like I said, it's an atmosphere that you have to build where everyone holds each other accountable, and then hopefully greatness can happen.
And also, just to follow up, maybe on a different topic, but I know because you throw so many different pitches, your relationship and communication with catchers is very important to your game. I just wondered, I guess, have you had any communication with the Blue Jays catchers yet? And how do you start? What are the initial steps, I guess, to forming that relationship?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked just like, hey, awesome, like can't wait to like work with you kind of thing. But I mean that stuff, like how I like to attack hitters, where I like to like throw pitches and what counts and all that won't happen until spring training. There's really no point of trying to have them learn that months in advance. That's more so bullpens and just being like, okay, I like to throw this pitch here and set up here. Rather than kind of trying to understand and talk like over the phone about this. Like that's more of like an in-person thing. But yeah, I mean, I throw a lot of pitches, but at the same time, I think I've learned a ton in New York being kind of a 1 year person there, of what to do, but also what not to do. And like I very much look forward to kind of making that relationship with the catchers in Toronto the best I possibly can, and honestly the fastest I possibly can.
Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Arden.
Hey, Chris, Arden with Sportsnet again. You've had a really interesting career in that you've kind of really hit your stride here in your 30s. I'm just curious, what are some of the important things that you think you've been able to refine or evolve over the last few years to just really have the success that you've had over the last few seasons?
I would say a combination of two things. I would say the combination of I've been around really great players to kind of like not only like learn from, but to be around and kind of expect and demand like a winning atmosphere day in and day out. But then I also been the most blessed to have elite managers and kind of guide me in the right way. I can't speak highly enough about Bob Melvin, and obviously Buck Showalter was unbelievable as well. So I've been, like I said, I don't know what I've done to deserve it, but I've been blessed beyond imagination to have those guys kind of lead me and teach me not only like, yes, this is really good, but also like kick me in the butt and say, hey, don't be doing that kind of thing. So I'm forever grateful for those guys, just because, like I said, it's just I'm here today because of them.
And just as you were talking to the Blue Jays over the last, weeks, months, whatever it was, I mean, how would you kind of describe the recruiting process and the sales pitch that they gave to you during your free agency?
Honestly, the teams that I talked to, and especially the Blue Jays that I talked to, I basically told them, like, you don't need to sell me. I have already kind of, like I said, I put the homework in on you guys, and I've kind of already sold myself on you. So now it's just, can we figure out the contract stuff with my agent and obviously Ross. But I kind of stopped everyone from saying, like, I don't need to be sold. Like, if I'm talking with you, I want to be there, kind of thing. I definitely wanted to be in Toronto. I knew the players. I understood the living situation. Like, I love the city of Toronto, especially the times that I went there. I'm 3.5 hours from my family in Ohio. So I got all the boxes checked. So you don't need to kind of add to anything.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, we'll wrap up here with Mike.
Thanks, Mike from the Star again, Chris. And I was going to ask you about Toronto and being close to home and stuff like that. You've only pitched here twice, but I'm assuming you've been up here a few more times when your rotation spot just hasn't fallen. So what kind of impression has the city made on you?
Lively and super clean, super safe, with great people. So I mean, if you're gonna be in a city, I think Toronto's hard to beat. So like I said, I can't really think of a better situation for my family than be so close, and then also be in a city that's like so nice. And that was, like I said, really hard to turn down.
And just the ballpark too. I mean, it's going to be different this year with the dimensions changing, so nobody really knows what it's going to play like. But you've pitched at some home ballparks that have been seriously friendly to pitchers, and Toronto is not. I mean, like, it's neutral or it has been neutral at best. But what are your thoughts on dealing with a park, playing half your games at a ballpark that might not be so forgiving?
Yeah, I think that's only in my benefit. I think I love I really like that question too, because I love the people that try to say, like, well, you're pitching at a pitcher's ballpark, so your stats are really good, and if you went to, say, Yankee Stadium, then your stats are gonna be really bad. And I'd be like, no, I'm a smart pitcher and I know how to pitch to a ballpark. Like I said, I'm one of the leaders in weak contact. So if they move the fences in 100 feet, I think it would benefit me and hurt everybody else. Like, I don't give up many hard hits. So I would like to see people face Vlad and Chappie and those guys with the fences moved in 100 feet. And I'll take the chance that I'm pretty good. So I'm not too worried about pitching in a ballpark that's hitter friendly, especially with our lineup.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for doing this today, Chris. This was a great intro. We hope you have a great holiday season, and we are all looking forward to seeing you back out on the field in spring training.
Thank you all.